Welcome back. It's good to be back. I took a hiatus. I thought I'd stay away for a while. I actually questioned whether I would do any more videos. Sometimes it feels like you're just talking into the wind. But I decided that it was time to return. And during the time that I took off, there have been a few changes. Two major changes, actually. The first big change is I turned 70 years old. It came as a big shock to turn 70. I spent it quietly. Still trying to wrap my head around it, to tell you the truth, because I don't feel 70 at all. I feel 17, if anything. But in fact, I'm 70, and I guess all the white hair that I have kind of shows it. But I feel great. Ankylosing spondylitis and all. The other change was something that began more than a year ago, something that began gnawing at me, gnawing in my heart. As most of you know, I was a Franciscan friar, and following in the footsteps of St. Francis meant everything to me. Everything. It meant so much to me that after making promises to my order, I actually knelt beside the tomb of St. Francis, and I made my own vows directly to him. Obedience, poverty, and chastity. Those vows. But during the last year, I just didn't feel right. I felt like a square peg trying to fit into a round hole, and it became more and more obvious that I did not belong. Finally, as I neared the spring, I honestly felt that I either arrived at the wrong place, or I didn't quite understand where I was. When I left on my Franciscan pilgrimage together with other brothers, it became very obvious that I did not belong. And by the last few days, I'd had enough. I knew it. It was over. I walked directly to my apartment in this little village in Tuscany, took off my habit, my brown robe, took off my rope belt, folded them neatly in my suitcase, and said goodbye. But I didn't say goodbye to my vows. I promised St. Francis out loud I would continue to live by my vows forever. For me, they were life vows. Next morning, I jumped into my car and drove directly to Rome, with the intention that I was going to say goodbye to Pope Francis. Pope Francis had just died. As I was traveling across the countryside to this little village, and I decided I wanted to say goodbye, to just be close to his limousine as he passed, going on the way to Santa Maria Maggiore, his final resting place. And so I made my way down. I stood actually in front of Trajan's Column, right there on that, that grand promenade, and I waited hours in the beautiful sunshine. And when his car appeared in the distance, I followed it, and I approached as much as I could just to see him, to see his coffin, and then to say goodbye, thank you. Because Pope Francis, his teachings meant a lot to me. He spoke to the world. He was not frightened to speak the love that he felt in his heart. And I felt that love too. And I wanted to say thank you. And when I said thank you, I realized exactly what I was doing. I was finding my way again. And I realized that the order that I'd been a part of was not an end. It was a passage to something else. In fact, it was a passage to my conversion. I had put down my old life, and I was going to start fresh with a new one, spiritually speaking. So I arrived back here in Vancouver. I picked up the telephone and called the Secretary of St. Francis Parish. Perfect place to begin. A lovely Roman Catholic church in East Vancouver. I left a message for the priest. one I'm sure was a bit unique. I'm sure that the young priest has never received a request from an Anglican friar to convert to Catholicism, but I knew what I was doing and I was quite serious. We met and I knew for sure. And I've been on this path now for the last year up till now, and on Easter I look forward to confirmation and a new life in a spiritual tradition where I belong. I don't know why I've always avoided becoming Roman Catholic. It frightened me, I suppose. It seems so severe, but in fact, this year I have never felt so comfortable, so warm, so accepted. Now my fears seem silly. So this video really is about change and about fear. That fear of change, that fear of the unknown, that fear of these presupposed ideas that keep us from acting. I'm 70. I feel like my life is just beginning, my friends. Treat each other with kindness. This is a troubled world. Little acts of kindness make a difference. Speak truth to power. Peace and all good. Ciao.